camera so far. Shalom, shalom. Giving all praises to the Most High God. Shalom out there, Israel. Yasharallah. Shabbat shalom to all my brews that's celebrating this Sabbath today. Want to do a Sabbath class, but first I'm going to start off with a prayer out of Psalms 149, starting at verse 1. Praise ye the Lord. Sing unto the Lord a new song, and his praise in the congregation of the saints. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Let them praise his name in the dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the trembling heart. For the Lord taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of God be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishment upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord. I did invite you. I put you in there. I sent I tagged you in there. But yeah, all praises to the Most High God of Israel and his saints and his son. I pray for the return of Israel as a nation so that we can presume what we're supposed to be doing here on this earth, man. But to do that, we got to come together. We got to work together. If we ain't working together, then we ain't doing nothing. If we can't come to an understanding on how to deal with each other, we're not doing nothing. So the name of the class today is The Curse of Deuteronomy 28 and 54 on Israel. These curses are strong. These curses are strong on our people, man. And this go for the brothers that's in Israel, that know we Israelites, that know what we supposed to be doing, but forget the curses. As long as we keep breaking the commandments, we gonna stay under these curses, man. And one of the main curses is Deuteronomy 28 and 54. I'll read it. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother and towards the wife of his bosom and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall lead. That's important, man, because it starts with the men of Israel. If the men of Israel is not doing, the whole thing falls down. And that starts with the men of Israel worshiping the Most High God through his law, statutes, and commandments. If we're not doing that, then the whole situation, our whole nation falls. That's a curse. And the other people know it, but I'm not even going to bring this on the other people right now. This is within Israel. It said that the man that is tender among you and very delicate. When they say tender and very delicate, it's talking mentally. It's talking mentally tender and delicate. And that comes from brothers that had life experience where they raised by their mother. No father in the home. Starts with the father in the home. And brothers is very delicate and tender emotionally. So any disagreement, any blow up, brothers is taking it all the way there. We can't get nowhere like that. That is a curse. That's why the so-called black folks in this nation, in this world, don't have representation, because we don't trust each other. We don't know how to deal with each other. This is ridiculous, man. Know that this is a curse. So why would we keep perpetuating this curse? But let's get Leviticus 19 and 17. First, let's do Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Because the Most High told us this thing, man, when he gave us the blessings and the curses. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. Salaki. Verse 28, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So it was a commandment that we do this, and we can get that commandment from Leviticus 19 and 17 out of the law. If it ain't about the law, then it ain't about nothing, man. Our brothers' feelings and thoughts don't matter. Let's see here. Book of Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. This was a law. The Most High commanded us to not hate our own people. And because when we do that, that means we curse. That means you're showing the curses. If we can't get along, that's a curse. You can look at the rest of the world. They don't even have to look at this country. This country is made up of 50 states. They don't agree on everything, but they still work together because their common, their law, the Constitution. Well, our common denominator is our law, which is the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. So whether we disagree or not, the common denominator that's supposed to hold us together is the law, statute, and commandments. If we get away from that, we're going to suffer the curses. Obviously, we got away from that. So as Israelites who have bethunk themselves and coming back to our heritage, we should know better. We should know that we're supposed to not hate each other, that we should not deal recklessly with each other. And even above that, it ain't just Deuteronomy 28 and 54, but I'm concentrating on that because it started with the man. But if you read from 52 on down, it's our women too. But I'm gonna concentrate on the men right now. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye should be evil towards his brother. The moment that your eye is evil towards your brother, you out of line. And look at here. When that happens, we can't work together. And then see what happens. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Why is that? Because we wasn't working together. They easily took us because the Most High, we wasn't worshiping the Most High, which means, and if we wasn't loving the Most High, that means we wasn't loving each other, which means we was easy prey for these heathens to put us in the rest of the curses because we don't work together. Because our eye is evil towards our brother. And because we went into captivity and we went into slavery, let's go to verse 48, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 48. Therefore, thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Another nation of people was able to do this because we didn't love each other. We didn't love our God. So therefore, he didn't have our back and we couldn't work together. And as long as our eye is evil towards our brother, we can't work together. And the name of the game is work together. Period. If we here on this earth, in this nation of Israel, and we're not working together, we're wasting time. That's why these curses are upon us. That's why these heathens is able to put their stores in our neighborhoods, because our eye evil towards our brother. We ain't gonna buy from them. We gonna look down on them. We not gonna support them. And the scriptures say to exalt one another. If we exalt one, we exalt each other. But right now we don't get that because brother's so deep in these curses, and we so worried about somebody else's stuff and not worrying about our own stuff, getting our spirit in check, getting our soul in check, to where we can't even work together. Because once you get your soul in check, you get your spirit right, and that other brother do the same thing, it's easy, man. You can disagree and still be able to walk through these laws, statutes, and commandments. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 29. Because one of the main problems that we got in Israel, we don't know how to talk to each other. We don't know how to talk to each other. We don't know how to speak to each other once we disagree. Oh, if we on the same page, it's all good. But the moment we disagree, then our hell break loose. That's ridiculous, man. What about these other nations? They got a whole UN set up. They disagree. They gonna sit down and work some kind of deal out. Not Israel. Not Israel. We ready to fight. So let's go to the book of Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29. The Most High tell us how to talk to each other. He say, let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearer. So as men of the Lord, when we speak, we supposed to be edifying, so that we may minister grace unto the hearers. What is the purpose of us talking if we ain't not going to minister grace unto the hearers through the word? He already said that don't let any man speak unless he speak with the oracles of God. If you saying you're a holy man, that's why I'm talking about Israel. Trying to get up out this thing, man. We have to adhere to the scriptures. We have to adhere to the scriptures, man. So he said, let no corrupt communication proceed out of thy mouth, but that which is good to the use of edification. When we speak, it's supposed to be edifying, man. It's supposed to be honey. It's supposed to be sweet. It's supposed to be good, because we giving them what the Most High said. Not what we said, not how we felt. We giving them what the Most High said. Because if we men of the Lord, 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 11 say, if any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of God. The oracles of God is these scriptures. We supposed to speak the scriptures to the people. And they say, if any man minister, let him do it with the ability which God giveth, that God in all things may be glorified through Yahushua, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. So what is the purpose of us talking if we ain't giving what the Most High said? And then the way that we give it. Let's go back to Ephesians chapter 4, verse 30. He gonna tell us what we should not do when delivering his message. He say, and grieve not the Holy Spirit of Yah, whereby ye are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be ye kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as Yah for Christ's sake has forgiven you. So that's how we supposed to be. How come Israel can't do that? Oh, because of the curses. How come the men of the Lord say they the men of the Lord, but they keep neglecting to do the law whenever they feel fit? Because soon as somebody disagree with them, then they go all out. You wicked, you gonna get put to death. The scriptures talk about that too. Everybody trying to do stuff that's out of place. You're not the Most High. Your job is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments and spread this gospel. And not with bitterness, not with wrath, not with anger, not with clamor and evil speaking. Be put away from you with all malice. He said, be ye kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as Yah, for Christ's sake, has forgiven you. What's hard about that? What's hard about that? But for some reason, we still got the nigga spirit on us, to where this brother don't agree with me, then I'm going to let him have it. That's not what the scriptures say. That ain't what I see. Let's go to James chapter 1 and verse 19. And the Lord said, wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of Yah. The wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of Yah. So if you mad giving this word, if you bringing wrath when you giving this word, that's not of the Most High. He said that's not the righteousness of God. Be swift to hear. We need to listen to one another. Even if you don't agree, let a man speak. Then that man let you speak. Everything's supposed to be done decently in order. Say slow to speak and slow to wrath. We should really be slow to wrath with our people. I bet you when you're on the job, you slow to wrath with your boss. You ain't gonna say that to him. How you gonna say it to your people, the ones that's closest to you? That's crazy, man. But that's that Willie Lynch. That's that Willie Lynch. Hold on. Get that Willie Lynch letter. Check that out. Look in there. You'll see what's wrong with our people. They capitalize from curses, man. I'm gonna go into that. Probably not today, but I'm gonna go into it because we live and breathing it right now. The fact that we know that the so-called white man conditioned us to do certain things to go against each other, and we gonna keep on doing it, that just show our ignorance in the matter. Let's go to Galatians chapter 5 and verse 19. Galatians chapter 5, verse 19. All praises to the Most High, man. I'm glad he woke me up. Woke me up today. Woke me up to see the light. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred. Hatred is the work of the flesh. So when you hating your brothers, that's the work of the flesh. Variance, emulations, wrath. We just went over wrath. Wrath is the work of the flesh. You can't control your spirit. If you run around raving and showing hatred, variance, strife, that's the next one. Seditions, heresies, envying. A lot of brothers envying. They seeing something they wish they can have, and they envying that. Murderers, drunkenness, all this is in the same thing. The lust of the flesh, reveling, and such the like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. How could you be doing these things and saying you're working for the Most High when he told you if you do those things, you can't inherit the kingdom of the Most High? He's telling you don't show wrath and strife. You're a prophet of the Most High. But that's the fruits of the flesh, man. We're not supposed to deal with the fruits of the flesh. We're supposed to be getting away from that. If you're doing that, you're not of the Most High. You're not. It's evident. He's telling us. Because verse 22, but the fruit of the Spirit is love. You're supposed to love your people. Joy. Peace. We're supposed to be peaceful with each other. And you're not going to agree with everybody. But we can still be at peace. Long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. That's what we're supposed to be doing with each other. But we not. That mouthpiece, man, you ain't got to touch nobody. That mouthpiece people be bringing. Whew. Let's see what the Lord say about that mouthpiece, because that's what brothers in Israel do. They ain't touching each other like the gang members, but that mouthpiece. Let's get to Proverbs chapter 18, verse 17. Need something. The book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 17. Anybody just tuning in, going over the curse of Deuteronomy 28 and 54 on Israel, how that we are still under this curse, and a lot of us ain't doing nothing to break it right now. The book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 17. He that is first in his own cause seemeth just. So if you got your own cause going, of course it's going to seem just to you. It don't be in your mind, everything you do is right. You can't be wrong. You got to be humble enough to know that you can be wrong. Say, he that is first in his own cause seemeth just, but his neighbors cometh and searches him. So you may feel like you just, but your neighbors, your brothers, they gonna check you out. That's how I'm gonna say. I'm just not gonna take your word for it. I got to check you out. We got to search this matter. This is verse 19. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city. Brothers need to understand that how we all the same. Once a brother is offended, we ain't even trying to hear it from you. Once you done offended us, called us out of name, disrespected us, we're really not trying to hear nothing no more. And the Most High said, a brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city. And their contentions are like the bars of a castle. So once you offended, bro, it's hard to get through to a brother. That's why we supposed to be good to each other. I don't know what scriptures you putting down. What you want me to do with them scriptures? But yeah, a brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. A man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth. So however your mouth goes, like wicked people gonna say wicked stuff so they can get their bellies full with their wickedness. But a person that's trying to be righteous, they gonna try to do the right thing. They're gonna try to say the right thing because they trying to fill their belly up with righteousness, man. And with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. So depending on how you are, that's how your belly gonna get filled. And verse 21 say, death and life are in the power of the tongue. I know them scriptures. I got scriptures right here. You should be looking over these scriptures with me. You know what I'm saying? You can't, like, all right. But yeah, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So we know what life and death is according to the Most High. It's keeping his law, statutes, and commandments. We should be keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. That's life and death. And how you work that tongue, whether you speaking righteousness or whether you speaking wickedness, that's going to determine which way you go. So life is being good to our people, being good to our brothers, and keeping these laws and speaking that way. We should try to steer away from contention with one another. We got enough contention with one another as it is. And we got enough enemies already surrounding us. Why do we need to make enemies with each other? So that mouthpiece, how you talk to a brother, really is going to determine how that thing goes. Don't nobody want to be offended. But you see how I say a brother, a black man offended is harder to be won than a strong city. Because I've seen other nations of people talk to each other any kind of way, and they turn around just accept them back. Oh, we're friends. But with us, you can't do that with us, man. Let's say a brother. So that mouthpiece, we got to learn how to speak to one another. That's the main problem in Israel, in the black community, period. Learning how to speak to one another because we already got big enough attitudes that we got to come down from, humble ourselves from our attitudes. But it's hard when you constantly getting used and abused from your own people. So I understand why we have those attitudes and put those shields up. That's why he say it's harder to be won than a strong city, because we're gonna put walls up to protect ourselves from being hurt again from our closest people. So I understand. But that's why I take two to do the law. That's why it's easier if both parties doing the law, because you won't have these problems because we under the same understanding. We under the same constitution, the same law, statutes, commandments, just like the United States. They don't agree on everything, but they do agree on their constitution, which keep them whole. That's how Israel is supposed to be. Everybody in all these camps, everybody scattered abroad, everybody across the world, our one common denominator is the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. But if we don't do that, then we suffer these curses like we're doing right now. Let's go to Sirach chapter 5. Sirach chapter 5, verse 9. It say, not not with every wind, and go not into every way. For so doeth the sinner that has a double tongue. Somebody who got a double tongue gonna go either way. They're gonna go this way, they're gonna go that way. They're gonna go where every wind a doctor. Somebody say this, they're gonna go along with that. Somebody say this, they're gonna switch up and go along with that. Because they got a double tongue anyway. Because they liars. So it don't matter to them about integrity or standards, because they double tongued anyway. And that's a lot what's going on in Israel too. Be steadfast in thy understanding, and let thy word be the same. Be swift to hear, and let thy life be sincere. So once again, the Lord is telling us be swift to hear. A wise man gonna listen first anyway before he speak, because he gonna weigh out the situation. But a lot of us just do a lot of talking. Be swift to hear, and let thy life be sincere, and with patience give answer. If thou hast understanding, answer thy neighbor. If not, lay thy hand upon thy mouth. So if you got understanding, somebody asks you a question, you can answer that. If you don't, you're supposed to be quiet. Cover your mouth. But a double-tongued person is make up something and say something anyway. And say, if not, lay thy hand upon thy mouth. Verse 13, honor and shame is in talk, and the tongue of a man is his fall. So, like I said, your tongue has a lot to do with life and death at this point. Because what is the scriptures? It's the word. The scriptures is the word. What are words? They're to be spoken. It's like the Most High spoke everything into existence. We speak. Your speech has power. Your tongue has power. Your words have power in them. Whether to go towards life or whether to go towards death. Whether to go towards love for your brothers or whether to go for hate towards your brothers. Your tongue has power. And it will be your rise or your fall, depending on how you use it. Let's go to James chapter 4 and verse 11. See what the Most High said. James chapter 4 and verse 11. Say, speak not evil one of another, brethren. He that speaketh evil with his brother and judges his brother, speaketh evil of the law, and judgeth the law. But if thou judge the law, thou art not a doer of the law, but a judge. There is one lawgiver who is able to save and to destroy. Who art thou that judges another? So the Most High is telling you. Matter of fact, let me read that again, starting from verse 10. It says, humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up. See, a lot of brothers think when you humble yourself, that you're supposed to humble yourself to them. They ain't talking about humble yourself to them. We respect one another, and we be humble. When we're being humble, we're being humble to the Most High. The brothers think you're supposed to be humble to them. He say, speak not evil. He that speaketh evil of his brother and judges his brother. So you speaking evil of him and you judge. You bearing false witness and you judge. But you ain't taking care of your own stuff. He say, speak of evil of the law. When you doing that, you're speaking evil of the law. And you judging the law. This is what the Most High say. But if thou judge the law, thou art not a doer of the law, but a judge. So are you a judge? Are you a judge at this point? Because the Most High telling you, if you speaking evil of your brothers and you judging them, then you judging the law. I didn't say it. He said it. I don't think that's something that you want to be doing. And you can avoid that by worrying about yourself, getting yourself in order. Because let's get that on Matthew. He told us, Matthew chapter 7, verse 1. Judge not that ye be not judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again. You really should be worrying about getting yourself in order first and foremost. Getting your house in order, getting your children in order for you running around trying to judge somebody else. You don't have to do the Most High work. He got everything under control. We the creatures, he the creator. He got everything under control. He got everybody doing what he want them to do. It ain't nothing you can do about it but play your role. But no, everybody want to get puffed up because he showed you who you are and you know how to read the Bible. Now we powerful enough to come against each other. No, man. Because while you putting down judgment and talking about everybody wicked and they getting thrown in the lake of fire, the Most High didn't even say all that. He gonna be the judge of that. He said in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, verse 11, say unto them, as I live, saith the Lord God, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked turn from his way and live. Turn ye from your evil ways, for why will ye die, O house of Israel? So he the one giving us a chance to turn from the wicked ways. You don't have to do nothing. Why is people telling people to putting people to death like they got the power to do that? Like they got the power to judge and punish. That's not your place. You should be worrying about you because the Most High don't even want the wicked to die. He giving all us a chance to get our stuff together. So you should be worried about your grace and getting your stuff together right now. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go back to that tongue. If we did this right here, let's go to the Apocrypha, the book of Sirach, chapter 6, because like we was talking about the tongue, for the wicked, for the bad that it do when you not using it correctly. It tells you in the book of Sirach, chapter 6, verse 5, sweet language will multiply friends, and a fair speaking tongue will increase kind greetings. That's what we want to be doing right now. We got enough division with gang violence, these homosexuals, LGBT, women empowerment movement. We got enough division in Israel as it is, in the whole nation of Israel. So why for the ones that know they Israel, that we gonna even add more division? We got Christianity, Islam, we got religious divisions, we got gender divisions, we got sexual divisions. Why is people saying that they're the man of the Lord and we not making friends with each other? If thou wouldst get a friend, no, verse 6, be in peace with many, nevertheless have one counselor of 1,000. He telling us to be at peace with many. We ain't got to be best friends. We only gonna have one counselor out of 1,000. We only gonna have one real friend out of 1,000. But we should be cordial with one another as with brothers. It's simple, man. That's sweet language. Let's go to Titus chapter 2 and verse 7. We need to learn how to talk to one another, speak to one another, use our head. If we supposed to be getting wiser with this thing, man. If you're not getting wiser with these scriptures, then you defeating the purpose. You defeating the purpose, for real. You not learning how to move about this world, harmless as a dove, wise as a serpent, then you ain't doing it right. Where's it hiding at? There you go. So it's hiding from me. The book of Titus, chapter 2, verse 7. Let's start at verse 6. Young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded, in all things showing thyself a pattern of good works, in doctrine showing uncorruptness, gravity, sincerity, sound speech that cannot be condemned, that he that is of the contrary part may be ashamed, having no evil thing to say of you. So we supposed to be speaking so well that no man will be able to talk down on us. Because the words that we speak is of the Most High, and the way that we speaking it is gracious and humble. So if you talking down, then you just hating, period. Why is we wasting time hating on one another? We should be making time building bridges and making allies, because we gonna need it. You should be setting this up for your children, for your children's children, so that when we have to go through Jacob's troubles, we have a network of working together. That's what we should be concerned about. Not making coats, because the coats they don't want to deal with nobody else. If you're a coat, you don't want to deal with nobody else. Now, if you're a group willing to deal with somebody else, all praises to the Most High God. But I should not have to join your group to be able to deal with brothers and sisters, because your group isn't the nation of Israel. We all are the nation of Israel. So let's go to Matthew chapter 18 and verse 15, because even if we don't agree, it's still a way to work it out. He gave us instructions. Matthew 18 verse 15. We all know this scripture out of Israel, but how often do we apply it? Moreover, we got a disagreement. We should go here. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. We don't have to make it a group thing. We all men. If I got a problem with you, I should be able to talk to you, and we should be able to work it out. Let's say between thee and him alone. So if you can't do that and get some understanding from it, then I don't know what's wrong. We should be able to deal with each other, man. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained a brother. That's what we shouldn't even have to go past the next step. If we all men in the Lord, we shouldn't have to go past that. Verse 16. But if he would not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of two or three witnesses every word may be established. And if he neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as a heathen man and a publican. Simple as that. You ain't even got to deal with him no more. If he don't want to hear you, if he hear you, y'all gonna be cool. Alliance there. If he don't want to hear you, then he should be to the heathen as a heathen and a publican. And I mean, don't deal with him. Don't keep going back and forth, arguing, ain't making no kind of leeway, ain't coming to no understanding, just wasting time, raising blood pressure up, and causing division. You should move on with your life. We ain't got to be best friends with everybody. So he gave us instructions on how to deal if we disagree. If we start applying it more, we'll get further. It's either we gonna deal or we not. We don't have to keep going back and forth bickering. So let's see a couple of examples of brothers not getting along. Let's see the curse and effect. Starting, let's go to Cain and Abel. Let's go all the way back. All the way back. It's been since the world began, man. And we gotta break this curse. Let's go to Genesis chapter 4, verse 1. Let's see how this worked out for brothers to be fighting or brothers to be hating one another. Let's see how that situation went. The book of Genesis chapter 4 and verse 1. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel, he also brought the firstling of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. Because Cain he ain't bring his firstling of his crop. He just brought some stuff. He didn't show honor and respect to the Most High. He just gonna do what he want to do. But Abel brought the firstling of the flock. He brought the firstling. Shalom out. He brought the firstling of the flock, showing respect, and the Most High had respect back. Verse 6, and the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shall thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel his brother. And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and slew him. And the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? So Cain even being funny, he's being smart. He gonna be a smart aleck. And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth to me from the ground, and now art thou cursed from the earth, which has opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. So the Most High cursed Cain to where the ground he ain't even gonna be able to grow nothing. He's not gonna be able to grow nothing. He's gonna be a fugitive and a vagabond upon the earth, running in fear of his life. Verse 13, and Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. So the Most High marked Cain, changed the skin tone. He was black like everybody else. He lightened that up. So everybody will know not to deal with him. That's that mark. He's a fugitive and a vagabond, and the ground wasn't going to grow for him no more. Let's get some more on that. That's what happens when you go against your own brothers, man. The same way with us. That's why it's a curse. We go against each other. Ain't nothing good going to come from it. Let's go to Hebrews 11:4. By faith, Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts, and by it being dead, yet speaketh. So, because Abel was righteous in the offering that he gave, his blood went into the ground, still was able to speak to God and let him know what his brother had did to him. Just give him some precepts on this matter. We go to 1 John chapter 3. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 11. Don't be like Cain is where I'm getting at. Don't be like Cain against your brothers, hating your brothers. The book of 1 John chapter 3 and verse 11. For this is the message that ye heard from the beginning, that we should love one another, not as Cain, who was of that wicked one. See? That's why it's paramount that we don't hate each other, that we learn how to talk to one another, that we learn how to deal with one another. We don't want to have that spirit of Cain on us, man. That's the spirit of Cain when you hating your people, when you don't know how to talk to your brothers, when we don't know how to agree to disagree. That's the spirit of Cain, and that envy and that hate. He say, not as Cain, who was of that wicked one, and slew his brother, and wherefore slew he him, because his own works were evil. You want to get mad at the brother because your works is evil and his brothers was righteous. That is going on in Israel too. They say, marvel not, my brother, if the world hates you. We know that we have passed from death to life because we love the brother. He that loveth not his brother abideth in death. Verse 15, whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer. And ye know that no murderer has eternal life abiding in him. We got to be careful, man. Brothers need to be careful at what they're doing. You have that spirit of Cain on you. Most High telling us. And it all revolve around us being tender and delicate and having an evil eye towards our brother. That's the spirit of Cain. That's the curse of Cain. Let's get one more. Oh, yeah, I got that already. So y'all praise to the Most High. Let's get another set of brothers that we all are aware of. And let's see how that's going to go. Let's get the book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 41. Esau and Jacob. The book of Genesis, chapter 27, verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing, wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I would slay my brother. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doeth comfort himself, proposing to kill thee. Esau hated Jacob. Esau wanted to kill Jacob. Do you got that spirit of Esau on you? You got the spirit of Cain on you? That's what we should be asking ourselves. If we can't live our life for worrying about what somebody else do, you need to ask yourself, do you got this spirit on you? That's a curse, man. That's a curse. Let's see what how the Most High feel about Esau for that. You hate your own brother, but let's see what the Most High say. Because he already told you you're a murderer if you hate your brother. The book of Malachi, chapter 1 and verse 3. And I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. The Most High hate Esau. Why? Esau was wicked. He wanted to kill his own brother. That's something that we are commanded not to do. We commanded not to kill. We commanded not to hate our own people. We need to think about that, man. You need to think about that for real. And the precept to that right there is in Romans. So let's see what else the Most High say about Esau. Let's go to Hebrew. The precept to that Malachi 1 and 3 is Romans 9 and 13. So let's go to Hebrews chapter 12. It's running from me. Get the Hebrews. Let's get Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 16. You do not want to be on the side of hating your brother, because when you look into the scriptures, it is not pretty what's going to happen to you. So the book of Hebrews chapter 12 verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know how that afterwards, when he would have inherited blessings, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. So Esau cut off. I don't want to be cut off for doing the same stuff that Esau did. Come on, man. Supposed to be getting away from that. Let's get one more on Esau. You want to be somebody who hates your brother? Let's see what happened to the ones that hate their brother. Let's go to Jeremiah 49, chapter 49 and verse 8. See what the Most High gonna do to those who hate their brother. Say, flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitant of Dedan. For I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. If the grape gatherers come to thee, will they not leave some gleaning grapes? If these by night, they will destroy till they have enough. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brother and his neighbors, and he is not. Does that sound familiar to Cain when he said that he wasn't going to be able to hide himself? Let's go back to Genesis. It said Genesis 4, start at 12. He say, when thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth. And Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond from the earth, and it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. So from the Lord's face, he gonna be hid. But he can't hide from everybody else. Just like Esau can't hide himself. And it say he shall not be able to hide himself. You can't hide yourself when you're a fugitive and a vagabond like you want to. Esau not going to be able to hide himself neither from all the things that he have done on this earth. The precept to that is in Obadiah chapter 1, verse 5 and 6. So, a couple more scriptures here. Let's go to Romans chapter 12, verse 16. The book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 16. Be of the same mind one toward another. Mind not high things, but descend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceit. Recompense to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Live peacefully with all men, especially our people. Our people can go and live peacefully with everybody else, but when it comes to us, it's always a problem. Verse 19, dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. So vengeance is the Most High God. So no matter how mad you are at a brother, we shouldn't go showing wrath and vengeance, because vengeance is his, said the Lord. Who are we? We got to leave that up to we got to have faith in the Most High that he going to put everything in order. Verse 20, therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. That is what the Most High is telling us. When you be nice to those who don't like you, it's like heaping hot coals on their head. But when you go and doing the same thing that they doing back, you giving them exactly what they want. The Most High said, be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. It's simple, man. It's simple. If we just hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God. Second to last scripture. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 37. If any man think himself to be a prophet or spiritual, let him acknowledge that the thing that is written unto you are the commandments of the Lord. So if you think that you are a prophet or spiritual, The things that are written in this book is commandments of the Lord. But if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. Somebody ain't hearing you, don't want to hear you, ain't seeing what you said. Let them be ignorant. That's what the scriptures say, man. Wherefore, brother, covet to prophesy, and forbid not to speak with tongues. Let all things be done decently and in order. The Most High deals with order. We should be dealing with order. He said, let everything be done decently and in order. If it's not of the Most High. If when we talking, we arguing, that's not of the Most High now. If we not getting along and we trying to do the Lord's work, that's not of the Most High. Period. Period. Point blank period. Don't matter what nobody say. Ain't nobody finna be up there arguing with the Most High or Yahweh or Moses or David or whoever. We not finna be arguing. It's not happening. So I'm gonna leave y'all with this. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So trust in the Most High, gonna bring every work into judgment, man. You don't have to do it. He's gonna do it. Trust, put your faith in the Most High that he gonna take care of business, man. With that, I say Shabbat Shalom. All praise to the Most High God. Kwam Yasharala.